Hello everyone. In the previous video on the channel, I talked about a way to make money called copy trading of wallets from Hyperliquid. Step by step, we searched for wallets, analyzed them, and set up several wallets for copy trading. I'll leave a link to that video right here, so if you haven't watched it yet, be sure to check it out. Well, in this video, I will show my results, which I got on test wallets in recent days. Trades. And we will also talk with you about important nuances that you asked about which you asked questions. Therefore, the video will be informative. Watch until the end. Let's get down to business. So first of all, let's talk about my two wallets, which I left for Copytrading, specifically for smart trading. By the way, in Hyperliquid, I publicly shared several wallets that I used for copy trading in my Telegram channel. So subscribe to my Telegram to not miss important information that you can also use in your own trading. The link to the Telegram will be under the video. So the result was as follows. Initially, I deposited $300, topping up with $100 and then $200. After that, accordingly from this deposit, literally in just 4 days of trading, specifically in copy trading, I managed to make a P&L, you could say, of 100%. Right now, my balance increase is $280 net profit, and at the same time, there are still 4 open positions on one of the wallets. And overall, 3 positions. Right now, they're still in the red, but 1 position on Ethereum is in profit. Overall, in recent days, the market has been in a long trend, and that's why, in most cases, the wallets I bought were going long, and some positions are still open even now. If we go into the activity section, we can see all my trades specifically for this wallet. Basically, there were both profitable trades here, which closed with a $63 profit, for example, another with a $250 profit, some smaller ones for a few dollars, and the last trade was closed with a $78 profit. Well, there were also some small losses, you could even say. They were basically break-even trades. Yes, they closed without loss, so overall, they weren't really significant, and as a result, we can see the win rate. Right now, it's 77%, and that's counting only the closed trades. We'll see how the current open positions close, but I think those will turn out well too. And there was also another wallet, which I started trading with slightly smaller amounts. Initially, the deposit was topped up with $240, and as a result, at its peak, I managed to make $345 net profit. Now there's been a slight pullback, so the net P&L is about $120. At the same time, there are also open positions, and as we can see, it's basically at break even right now. But there are 3 positions in the red, also long positions, and 1 position in Ethereum is currently in profit. Again, we'll see how these positions close, but I hope the long trend in the market continues and everything will be okay here. And in this case, the win rate is a bit worse if we go to the activity section. Here we can see that the last trade was closed at a loss on ping. It was quite a large trade, so the loss here is significant, not just 0, but overall there were some decent trades before that. Here there was a long on Bitcoin, also a short on Bitcoin, then a short position worked out, and there was also a long for $155. Closed on the hype, and there were a few more small trades here as well. In general, that's the story for this wallet. Overall, if we talk about deposit growth for such a short period of time, I think it turned out quite well. So to sum up right now, in total it turned out about 2 times on the total deposit from both wallets. And this result was achieved in less than 7 days. One wallet took 6 days and the other wallet literally 4 days. Now, let's talk in more detail about how to find good wallets. And once again, let's take a closer look at the Apex Liquid platform and what to pay attention to here. I've talked about it before, but nevertheless, let's go over a few more points. Look, in general, there's a top traders section here, and it's quite convenient for finding good wallets, specifically through this section. The first thing I pay attention to here is that the wallets are active. Throughout the day, 7 days, 30 days, and in general, I want to see that day after day, so to speak, it has a positive win rate. For example, in this case, there's a wallet ending in 44, and its balance has been steadily increasing over the entire period. So pay attention specifically to those wallets that you could say perform well in every time interval. The green ones, which have a positive win rate. Next, you can open any wallet and take a closer look at it. Here, it's also important that the chart is trending upward, meaning without sharp fluctuations. Here, it dropped and then started growing from the bottom again. Honestly, a wallet like this doesn't really appeal to me right away. It's also important that its most recent positions are positive. Here, we can see that lately this wallet has actually been losing money. So in this regard, you definitely need to be careful. You shouldn't just rely on the statistics shown on the main page, but also take a closer look at each wallet individually. Now I've opened another wallet. It looks healthy, so to speak. Its chart is gradually trending upward, and overall it's currently sitting at a decent profit. At the same time, the win rate is about 50%, and we can see that the recent trades are also rather questionable. So I wouldn't put it on the buy list, but I do want to draw attention to the amounts involved. Yes, so pay attention to how large the wallet is, meaning what its balance is. There's a nuance here from the perspective of the buy rating. That is, if you start following some whale wallet that has millions of dollars in it, and for example, it enters positions with 5% or 10% of its deposit, then most likely you won't be able to make money by copying its trades. Or if you do want to make money, you'll have to use a certain trick, which we're going to talk about right now. Look, here's what the trick is. To explain it clearly, I've now switched to Hyperliquid bot, which is exactly what you can use for copy trading. In the previous video, we went through the step-by-step setup together, but nevertheless, let's go over it once more. We go to the copy trading section, and here we can actually add a wallet, and we can connect it to copy trading. Basically, it's all pretty simple here. You enter the target wallet, meaning the wallet you want to copy trade, click here to submit the wallet, and basically it gets linked for you. Next, you need to set up the configurations. And here's the nuance. For example, if you want to copy trade some whale, but you only have a balance of $100 or $1,000, which is small compared to their balance. Look, when the whale enters a position, say, with $1 million at 10%, that's $100,000. Next, such whales often take short profits. For example, they might not wait for 100% profit, but instead take profit at 10%. So by entering with 10% of their deposit, which is $100,000, they could make, for example, $10,000 by closing the position when they have a 10% profit from their entry. And you, in turn, if you use, for example, the copy ratio at 1 times and your balance is, say, $500, then you will enter the trade in exactly the same way, with 10% of your deposit, which is $50, and you will also close the position at a 10% take profit. So, in total, your profit will be only $5. In other words, essentially, you are copy trading in proportion to the wallet size you allocate specifically for mirroring trades. As a result, you will hardly feel any profit, unlike the whale you are copy trading after. And on top of that, some portion of your funds will also go towards commissions. That's why, in order to profit, to be at least somewhat noticeable, if you want to copy trade, for example, whales, wallets with large balances that trade with only a small percentage of their deposit, you need to set the copy ratio not to 1 times, but to 3 times or 5 times, depending again on what percentage of their deposit that particular wallet usually uses for trades. And in this way, if we set the setting here to 3 times, we will be copying the trades of that wallet at a percentage multiplied by 3. So for example, if they enter a trade with 10% of their deposit, you will enter with 30% of your deposit. And so you won't be entering with $50 as we discussed earlier, but with $150. And by closing the position following that same wallet, you won't earn $5, but $15. Of course, in this case, the profit will be much more noticeable. This overall is the main nuance here. Many people had questions about this, so I went over it separately once again just now. That's why we can confidently copy trade, even large wallets. But if you have a small balance, you'll have to take on a bit more risk by increasing the copy trade coefficient. Yes, meaning you'll be entering with a slightly higher ratio when following a large wallet. And accordingly, in this case, you'll feel more profit, but you'll also be taking on higher risks. So be careful here and only follow verified wallets when increasing your copy trading settings. I also want to draw your attention to the fact that within this bot, interesting wallets often appear that are worth analyzing further. This is the format in which they appear. To analyze a wallet, all we need to do is copy the address, go for example to Apex, paste the address, and then see how a particular trader is trading. And after that, if you like a particular wallet, if it trades steadily, so to speak, you can also add it to your copy trading. I also want to show an important point regarding the Hyperliquid bot, since many people have specifically asked about how to close positions manually. When trades are opened for you following a particular wallet, you can of course close them manually if you think it's necessary. To do this, you just need to go to the position section and click close to close the trade. Let's do this right now. We click close. Here, a menu like this pops up. We select the percentage of the position we want to close and click close position. Well, in this case, I will close the entire position completely. The order has been successfully executed and we can see that the position is closed. After that, a little panel like this appears as a picture. Guys, I don't want to drag out this video. Once again, I tried to clearly show you, using my own example, the approximate numbers you can achieve. Right now, I'm basically running tests with small amounts, but gradually I plan to increase my trading deposit in the near future. And we'll see what comes of it over time. Again, I tried to highlight for you the important nuances regarding bot setup and wallet searching. And in the next videos on the channel, we'll talk about this area in even more detail. Also about additional services that I use for searching and analyzing wallets. So this isn't goodbye, I'll see you in the next videos. If you still have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer all of them. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.